Good late evening to you. It is Monday, October 28th at 10:08 p.m. You may have been around here an hour ago. You may not have, looking for a handsome duo or trio. And sadly, I broke the news probably 2.5 hours ago that there would be no handsome hour this evening because of the unfortunate schedules of I don't know if I can call unfortunate schedule of both of them, but at least one of the guys from the Handsome Hour was not available. And so we were at a crossroads. We were at a fork in the road. And so I said, hey, do what you got to do. And there's nothing, major to talk about on a bye week. So I thought I'd come on here. I thought I'd come here live, talk a little bit about the Northwestern game. I'm going to try to talk about on Wednesday. Hi, Karen. Thanks for being here. I'm going to try to talk on Wednesday after Texas A&M something, Corpus Christi. Is that right? Texas Corpus Christi game on, it's something like that. The basketball game at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. I'm going to try to talk about it. The problem I've got is I refuse to buy a BTN minus game. They burnt me twice, and I will never do it again. I will not pay Big Ten Network extra money. So I'm going to have to either go the old-fashioned way, do it radio, and then look at stats and talk to you guys after the game, or I don't know. Maybe somebody I know will have access to it, and they'll let me know how to do this. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the game. It might just be old-timey. Regardless, there is a lot of football this week. It's not just a bye week anymore. We're through the bye week, right? We're in preparation week for Northwestern, and there's a little bit to talk about here on the Northwestern prep. Not much of it's good, but as you can see on my cover, I referenced this a couple weeks ago. Is this Purdue? Really, is this Coach Walter's Alamo? Right? I called the Oregon State game the most pivotal game of the season for the team. I thought that if Purdue could beat Oregon State, the season could be pretty solid. And then they didn't play Oregon State very competitively at all for a half, and ended up getting rolled over there. And it's happened time and time again. So they're in the position now where you have things like press releases coming out telling you that Purdue may or may not have the same coach next year. We'll talk about that. Let me dig in there a little bit. I got ahead of myself. Thanks to our friends at HomeField Apparel. Head over to homefieldapparel.com. Enter Boiled25 with your purchase. Get 15% off. They got platinum packs, which are really cool. They've got some 90s style jackets. The Purdue jacket has got the old motion train on the front. And then they got coaches jackets too. That's a pretty cool look. And of course, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, whatever, anything you want, homefieldapparel.com. And of course, this Saturday, Purdue plays at noon in God's country versus Northwestern, the second to last home game of the season as basketball is ushered in. Maybe you're going to the basketball game on Wednesday night. So if you're going to the basketball game on Wednesday night, or you're going to the football game on Saturday, For the basketball game, I would go before just because I got to work the next day. So I'd go there and I'd probably get some mac and cheese bites, maybe a pretzel, then some Italian beef or maybe a burger. That's AJs. Head over to AJs by the fire station. Burgers, beef, and beer. EatAJs.com if you want to order ahead. They've got pints in there with a special magnet at the bottom on game days that Read Boiled Sports showing our partnership. We appreciate them. They're awesome. They're great. Great service, great food, AJ's. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Northwestern, shall we? So the first thing was the Golden Black actually reposted the Pete Thamel article talking about it's expected. I think it's expected for Walters to get more time is the way it was. I think that's the way it was posed, saying that dependent upon the way the rest of the season goes, Purdue is expected to give Walters more time to right the ship. But what that really says, if you really read into that, that's saying that Purdue should be playing better than they are right now. And if they play to the level that many people think they should, then he'll get more time. Now, Purdue has been everybody's get right game this year, right? Wisconsin, they played Purdue and they looked incredible. Oregon State looked awesome versus Purdue, and they've gotten beaten up pretty good a couple games versus, Notre Dame. Notre Dame was coming off a major loss. They looked great versus Purdue. I think Nebraska coming off the loss versus Illinois? I think they were. So it's a good game for opponents to get everything in order. Let's hope that doesn't happen on Saturday. Obviously, this game's a little different than a lot of the other games Purdue's played this year because Northwestern is struggling a bit. There's also some other things that are interesting on the Purdue side. Of course, you're coming off a bye week. We saw what happened last time Purdue came off the bye week. In case you don't remember, that was a Notre Dame game, and a lot of Purdue fans, myself included, thought Purdue would be dialed in ready for Notre Dame, and they were anything but. So this time you play opponents not as tough as Notre Dame, obviously, but every opponent for Purdue this year is tough. Indiana State wasn't too tough for Purdue. That's good. But, this is a game that I think somebody at Golden Black said, it's a real chance for Purdue's coaching staff to prove that they can prepare with an extra week of preparation. I don't remember who said it, but all I could think of was like, do we remember what happened earlier this season? We've already been through this, and we saw one of the worst games in the history of the program. So color me skeptical. So you got a QB battle, Brown and Card. Card is available. In the weekly presser, Coach Walt said that Card throws the ball a little bit better. Brown runs the ball a little better. Brown's a little bit quicker and faster, and Card has a bigger arm, is a bit more accurate. So they're expecting both quarterbacks to play at different times, I believe. I don't think they'll have them on the field at the same time. It's another sellout, which is awesome. Purdue fans continue to do what they do. I know there was a big running start. I think this one either was sold out a week ago or very close to sold out, thanks to all the season ticket sales. But once again, Purdue fans will be there in force. The weather's supposed to be nice, like 64 degrees and a little cloudy in the sky, little clouds in the sky. Really good news. CJ Smith is supposed to be available. We talked about that last week. So all good there. Northwestern's coming off a pretty good thrashing by Iowa at Iowa. They lost 40-14, a game in which Iowa benched their starting quarterback, McNamara, and former Michigan player, and put in a young guy, a new guy who reminded me a little bit of Ryan Brown, actually, the way he played. He played with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He was quick to make decisions, but very effective versus Northwestern. And Northwestern lost 40-14. Pretty big ass kicking by Iowa. Last year, Northwestern had a lot of people who didn't believe in them. I was one of them, especially coming off the Fitzgerald drama and all the problems in the offseason coming to light. It wasn't like it just happened. It had been happening for years. And so I think it's Braun, right, the coach, really middle of the season. So 2 weeks ago, Northwestern time, they kind of got things right and started really hitting their stride and playing well. Well, it hadn't happened this year. They're coming off 2 straight losses. They lost to Wisconsin, which they couldn't move the ball at all. Kind of a Purdue-esque performance where just got beaten on both sides of the ball. And then they lost to Iowa. Northwestern right now is 3-5. Their best win is over Maryland. They beat them up 37-10. They've had a couple bad losses. More than a couple. I'd say 2 or 3 bad losses and a few bad losses. So they're similar to Purdue, but they did have put together a couple wins at the same time. So like I said early in the season, I said on the Handsome Hour, Northwestern looked notably better to me many times this season, but last week wasn't one of those times. And something's got to give. Something's got to give, quite frankly. So let's look at some stats real quickly, shall we? Northwestern is 18th in the league in total yards of offense. They average 271 yards a game. Purdue, though, a juggernaut, 15th in the league, 334 yards a game. Northwestern, they score 17.4 points a game. They're 17th in the league. And Purdue scores 20.3 points a game, and they are 16th. You're seeing a lot of tenths. 16th in the league. Northwestern has had 15 first downs. Purdue, 15 first downs a game. Purdue is 14.85. These two teams don't move the ball well. And I was telling somebody I was watching Northwestern play the other day, and their quarterback, I think his name's Lausch. I think it's Lausch. He reminds me of kind of like the generic Northwestern quarterback of the mid 80s. That's not a good thing for Northwestern. Late 80s, whatever. Before Northwestern really righted the ship and got things rolling. Was it under was it Barnett? I think it was Gary Barnett. They remind me old-timey Northwestern a little bit, but they're a little bit better than them still because they've won a couple games. Those teams did not win a lot. Let's look on the other side of the ball real quick. Maybe it's just isolated to offense. Sure, these two teams aren't very good on offense, but on defense, oh yeah, here we go. So Purdue allows 451.6 yards a game on defense. That's good enough for 18th in the league. Northwestern allows 350.8. They're 12th in the league. So that's pretty strong. And Northwestern, you'll see this a little bit stronger on defense, but that's their best category. Purdue allows 38.4 points a game. They're 18th in the league. And Northwestern allows 24.8 points a game. They're 14th in the league. One funny, happy, silly note about Purdue's stat of being 18th in the league and points allowed to the game. They are 11 points behind number 17. You say 11 is not that big of a deal, but it's a pretty big deal, especially when you 11 points per game behind UCLA. When you look at the standings, it goes 18. There's an 11-point gap, and I think there's a 2-point gap to between 17 and 16, and like a 1-point or a 3-point gap. And that's how most of those go, all the way up to number 1. But Purdue's defense has been so bad. And we've talked about this, they're reaching historically bad levels. The defense simply must be better. And there is no debate here, especially that, Walter said he was going to concentrate more on defense this week because now he could hand the offense back to Coach Simmons because he knew the terminology and all that. He didn't have to spend all of his time with the defense. Well, time to put up, Coach. Like I said, Purdue's 1-6, Northwestern's 3-5. Could be a real rock fight. On the good side, basketball season, I talked about Creighton, that exhibition a couple days ago, but basketball season is what I was wrong. So the Texas Corpus Christi is Saturday, I think. I think that's right. No, it's Monday. It's a week from now. Texas Corpus Christi is a week from now. I really butchered this. Grand Valley State is October 30th, 7 p.m. on BTN minus. So that's the notes I've got. That's what I was going to talk about. A couple of you are here live. I really appreciate you being here. Let's see what you have to say. Karen says, I'm here with you, B-Dad. Thanks. Yeah, thank you. And we dropped the ball a little bit, not having a handsome hour. But if you're listening to this on recorded delay, we appreciate it. If you're watching it live and listening live, we appreciate it as well. Greg McManus says, hello, how are you, sir? I will. I'll DM you after. Ben Cotton says, every Boiler's crazy about a sharp dress down. Yep, you noticed. This isn't just a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. I've got a pretend collar here. So thank you. Thank you. Little ZZ Top reference from Uncle Ben. Rick Manis continues, Illinois had a loss, then a bye before playing Purdue. Okay, so they had time to prepare for the juggernaut that is Purdue, but I think I still get the credit that saying that was a get right game. But they remember, is that right? Am I right about that? So Illinois, so that's 3. Oh, you're adding on, right? Or is that what you're doing? Yes, I think you are. Because Nebraska had a loss, Illinois had a loss, and then a bye, and then they played Purdue. Yeah. So Nemanja Chalison's here. Says, I'm not here to talk football, just to drop my opinion that Berg equals Travis Carroll. I'll tell you, I don't think Berg equals Travis Carroll. Because he fouls a lot more than Travis Carroll. Berg is a bigger, stronger dude than Travis Carroll, too. I mean, like, what? Carroll's was, 6'11", 6'10". Berg's really big, 7'2", and he's just a mountain as a man from the way he is strong, too. So, yeah, different players. Carroll was a bit more of a finesse player. So I can understand maybe the sentiment you're getting at here, but I'm not ruling Big Will out. I think Will's going to be important this year. If nothing else, a guy that can come in and be a bit of an enforcer. If Purdue's playing soft at times, he can do that. He's got to work on staying out of foul trouble. But make no bones about it, he was playing one of the best centers in the nation, a guy who's 22 years old. And one thing that GBI talked about this, the age discrepancy between Purdue and Creighton was really noteworthy. They had a lot of guys in their 20s. Purdue, I think, has, well, in up past 22, 23 years old. And I think Purdue, TKR is the oldest on the, is that right? Is that right? TKR or First is the oldest on the team, but I think TKR might be because he has the red shirt. I think TKR is 22 years old. Handle Jones, my buddy, says, does a Northwestern loss essentially end the Walters eras? And this is a good question. And, you know, we got that nebulous press release. It feels to me like it should, effectively. It won't right then, I don't think. I don't think that they will let Coach Walters know on Sunday that he's not going to be coaching anymore. I don't think it'll happen that way. So it's not like we're going to learn anything. A lot of people stuck their neck out last week on the interwebs saying that they knew that was D-Day for Coach Walters and company. And of course that came and went and it didn't happen. And, but now I can't claim any insider knowledge, as you know, of course, Handle. But it's a good question for everybody to, you know, think about. It becomes very real. For me, it becomes more real that if you lose to Northwestern, that is every one of these games has been damning. Every one of these games has been an indictment on the way the coaches have prepared. Let's be real honest. They just have been. Even the kindest, gentlest Ryan Walters apologist among us would say those games were the games where Purdue, you know, lost by a record-setting differential or let a team do whatever they wanted on offense and defense. I think most people would say, yeah, those are pretty bad, even if you're more lenient than I am. But we got to be real honest. They got to beat Northwestern. So must win. This just in, must win on Saturday. Yeah, I think they really need to win. They really need to show a pulse, but they really need to win. And the manner in which they've lost has really mattered, but they need to win. They need to beat Northwestern. My stats should tell some of the story. This is a team that's, everybody keeps using the words peer program. There's no peer to Purdue this year, though. There really isn't. And doesn't take much to figure out what I'm talking about. They're not on anybody's level right now. John Reinhardt says, new season, work to beat Indiana. It's a moral imperative. Bad news, John. IU is really good. I've been on this train on my Hoosiers. You guys know that that's a joke. I've been painfully watching IU do what they do. They are a very good team. They are a very good team. All of a sudden, the IU fans are coming out of the woodwork. If you're near Central Indiana, too, people that really had no idea IU even had a football program. They just thought it was tailgating on Saturday. Are all of a sudden big IU fans at church. I couldn't believe the amount of IU red and white, cream and crimson, whatever you want to call it. It's a little much for me. Give them credit, though. Give them credit. And I'm excited, honestly. If the real fans, the 5 of them, I keep saying, my buddy Nick Barker, he's one of the 5 IU fans. Good for him. He's been here all along. He's gone to bowl games and watched them lose. He's a good fan. He's a season ticket holder, I believe. Takes his boys to the games. So guys like Nick deserve it. Everybody else, pound sand. Let's see. Greg Miss says, so what I heard is I'll see a good barn burner on Saturday. Sounds like a good road trip. Yeah, here we go. That's right, Greg. That's right. You're going to see a good one. You're going to see a fun, competitive game, lively atmosphere. You and I will maybe get to see each other. That's always a big bonus. So yeah, I think that's what you're right. That's what you heard. I think that's it. Contact Josh says, proud to be a Boilermaker parent. Hello, all. Hello, Josh. I too am a Boilermaker parent. Just was trading texts with my son on campus, and he took a photo of Coach Painter doing his show in the Union, which I didn't know they did it in the Union. Is that all? And maybe somebody in the know. Is that what it's going to be all year this year? It's going to be in the Union. So wasn't a huge crowd after the Creighton exhibition, but looked like some diehards were in there. So Ed Albanese, I was talking about Ed, the king of gummy bears, says, I really like Berg. If Painter gives him a chance, he will grow for sure. Yeah, he's I think he's got to work a bit on his touch and the defense. I'm telling you, that the inability to stay in front of somebody without a foul, that was tough. So I think he's I think he can be solid. And he's got some time, too. It's the other thing. So we'll see. Brother Ted says, I'm sorry, Walters isn't the guy. So there we go. Brother Ted says it's over. It's over already. Ed Albanese says we need an injection of confidence, and he will be the key for Purdue success. And he's talking about, I think you're talking about, are you talking about Berg still? Yeah, talking about Berg still. Big Berg guy at Albanese. He continues, okay, in regards to Walters, I don't see another win. Sorry to sound very negative. It's okay. Call him as you see him. 2 wins is not enough. It's not about the loss, but how the team is playing, poor coaching, penalties, etc. And I agree. The slop that we see week in, week out is really, really tough to swallow, I think, for most Purdue fans. Really tough. Losing is one thing. Losing a well-fought game is something I think Purdue fans would be frustrated. Like I said weeks ago, coaches could have narrowed in on things and said, okay, this is what's wrong because we're so close. But there's nothing. There's nothing that's been close. That's the sad thing. Oregon literally messed around with Purdue for the entire game, and they just kind of slapped them away over and over. And that's not the first time that's happened this year, is it? Nebraska, Handel used the term playing with their food. Nebraska did to Purdue that way, just kind of second half, not too interested. They didn't need to be. So, and then Nebraska proved that they can get whipped if the right team plays them at the wrong time. And IU absolutely stomped Nebraska. Nebraska played hard versus Oklahoma or Ohio State. There you go. It's an O. Ohio State this week. It felt like Ohio State really wanted Nebraska to be in that game at the end. Very unusual game for a team that's supposedly elite to give a team that is not elite in Nebraska so many opportunities to come back and win that game. Ohio State really lacked a killer instinct in that game. I'm not going to read much more into that. But Brother Ted says, I don't begrudge the Hoosiers' success. No, nor do I. Good for them. They deserve a great run after so many lean years. I will not say they deserve a great run. I am excited for the few IU football fans that are legit. So I will say that. And I'm excited. That's a fun thing to see. If I were just another college football fan and this wasn't IU, I would be like, I think this would be fun to watch. And I'm watching IU every week because I'm like, dag nab, they are good. They keep proving to me that they're good. They are very well coached. Guys step up who, they remember they're playing with a backup quarterback. Rourke was a Heisman candidate until 2 weeks ago. I think he'd still be on the list, but second quarterback, Trace Jackson Davis' little brother, comes in, leads them to a win. No big whoop. Next man up. That's discipline. That is something Purdue does not have this year, where if somebody goes down, it seems to me it kills the team. I know we saw Ryan Brown have a great game versus Illinois. Purdue couldn't get the win, though. IU, it's a different thing. Their defense steps up. Fun fact, if you haven't heard it, IU hasn't been down all season. They have not been down all season. And the naysayers can say whatever they want about IU. They're good. They're really good. Both sides of the ball. Greg McManus says paint was at walk-ons. Yeah, that's good. It's good. Supporting. That's one of Breeze's many business ventures. John Reinert says, no question. IU very good. Where can Boilers find their FCS hidden coaching gym? I'm not going to get into that yet, John. We'll talk soon, maybe. We'll see. Karen Grulock says, Painter show at walk-ons. Yep. Contact Josh says, offenses look better. Oregon last week was just a great team. I hope to see that continue. Yeah, I didn't score any points. They look better. They've looked better. We'll see. They need to take a big step to be playing well enough to win a game, right? And the defense needs to take a bigger step to help a team win a game. That's the thing. It's both sides of the ball. Let's see. Ed Albany says, okay, so what is making IU a success? Players or coaching? Yes. So the funny thing is, they're very. I said this early in the season. They looked organized, and I'll continue to say that this team looks organized. Signetti brought a bunch of guys from JMU. I believe it's 13 guys who play significant role or start. That's a lot of guys transferred over. They've had a couple guys come in from the portal that have done a really good job. And I think they've got a couple guys that were on Tom Allen's team, recruited by Allen. Somebody said to me, IU must have been horrible with their old players, or their talent level must have been bad. No. I think it's the whole thing about buying in, especially when you have a guy like Cignetti, who is just an iron fist type coach. He's not a player's coach at all. You have to have people buy in, and the leaders of the team, the captains, have to buy in. I think he brought his captains with him, so his coaching style is tough. You've seen him. He's said some things that pissed off Purdue fans. Okay, but he's backed it up. So it's one of those things too. Momentum grows with a coach like that as you win, right? You believe more and more what he's saying as you win, and you see the results are good. So yeah, it's both. But I really think a guy like that, maybe it takes him an extra year or two to get people to buy in, or maybe even has to clean house if he doesn't bring all those people with him. But bringing the people with him, bringing the coaches with him, I think he brought the majority of his staff from JMU. Not everybody, but I think he brought the majority of them. And they look really good. Plug and play, really, really good. It is possible. It is still possible. Let's see. Greg Mattis says Cignetti seems to be a good motivator, program manager, and brought an influx of fresh talent from JMU. Yep, right on. Nancy Williams says, Ed, I heard Cignetti brought 18 experienced players with him. Yeah, I think that number's right. I think 18 experienced players and 13 are starters. So Nemanja Chalison says, could the Tom Allen singing team beat this Purdue team? Yes, I think they could. Here's why I would say that. They came pretty damn close to beating Purdue last year, right? And Purdue was a better version of itself last year. Purdue was pretty solid at the end of the season. Purdue finished the season strong, and IU hung with them, right? In fact, I think IU had the lead in the fourth quarter. Am I remembering correctly, in the bucket last year? I think they did. But a lot of my memory has been erased by a cold, icy understanding of what's happening on the field this year. So forgive me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Greg Mattis says JMU is still really good. Yeah, they are, even with those guys leaving and their coach leading. They played really well. They looked really bad, this week? I think they had a bad, either this week or last week. They played really poorly. But yeah, they're good. I think they're 5-2 or something. They're good. So, so I think that's about it. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Good discussion. It's not always the mass numbers needed, but the quality of people here, always high. And I appreciate all you coming here. If you're listening on delay, thanks for doing it. Thanks to the Believe Network for believing in me. I don't know. But it's been fun. So let's see. Ted has something. Brother Ted says, is there any level of concern when a basketball team that had an amazing run the year before and loses its NCAA Player of the Year, then loses its first exhibition game? So no, Ted, no. So I don't know. I talked about this after the game. No, I am not concerned about losing the exhibition game. That's the first part. If you want to isolate one part first, that doesn't bother me at all. Purdue loses exhibition games. Purdue has lost most exhibition games. Is it a concern when you lose a two-time National Player of the Year, one of the best players, if not the very best player in the history of the program? Yes, you're concerned at that. An isolated thing, you just say that. Yep, that's concerning, and it's impossible to replace. The third part, is the team going to be different? Yeah, I've been talking about this for weeks. So, yeah, it's going to be different. My opinion on this team is they're a work in progress, and they're going to get a lot better between this Wednesday and January when the Big Ten season kicks off. I think you're going to see a lot of shuffling of lineups. I think there's a lot of things that Purdue needs work on. I think Painter's got his work cut out for him. This is why he gets paid the big bucks. I think Coach Brantley has more work cut out for him than anybody, because he's got to figure out who's playing center. This is a hard thing. Purdue's got a bunch of good centers, and they really need a great one, especially in Paint's system. And they don't have it right now. So, Mr. Matt DSM says IU was up 28-18 at the end of the third quarter last year. There you go. Thank you, Matt. I knew Purdue was down, and yes. Could relentless singing Tom Allen beat this year's Purdue team? Yes. Undoubtedly, yes. So, Ed Albany says a key game will be when we play Alabama at home. Yeah, that's November 15th, I believe. Yeah, that's the barometer game, right? Alabama is really, really good. They got tons of talent. They got Uncle Cliff from Rutgers. They've got depth, and they're coming off of a Final Four as well. That is a great program, number 1 or 2 in the nation right now, according to most people that vote. Yeah, that's a great barometer, and that's a good game. I'm excited about that one. So, Greg Menace says Painter did get on high knees a few times on Saturday, more than he normally does. Yeah, I didn't recognize that high knees was there. That guy's a jerk. If we're talking about the same ref, yeah, that guy deserves every getting on. The fact that he grandstands, the fact that he showboats like a pony, yeah, he deserves. It's not about him, but everybody knows who he is. I hate that. Hate that we know who officials are. You're supposed to be part of the backdrop, fellas, ladies. It's about the basketball. So Jeffrey Anderson, thank you. Thanks, Greg. Yep, that same guy. So Greg was there in person, fighting the good fight like he does. So, and that's it. That is officially it. And I think that we can call that a quick cast, legit quick cast, 31 minutes, 10 seconds. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you soon. God bless you. Hammer down. We'll see you. Have a great evening.